Hello, I'm Panos Kotzathanasis, and this is Bad Accent Reviews. Today we're going to speak about Blood Flower, a 2022 film by Malaysian Dain. A very interesting film for a number of reasons. For starters, it seems that Said had many issues with the censorship committee in Malaysia, which is definitely one of the strictest in the world, if not the strictest of all. And in the end, he showed the film in cinemas in a somewhat cut version, but from what I hear, he blurred some scenes in the movie that were actually not the ones that are to be blurred. So it was like an extreme reaction to local censorship. Beyond that, though, let us now take a look at the actual movie. Iqbal, an apprentice faith healer and exorcist with a sixth sense, is 16 years old and is tormented by visions of the dead and spirits from other dimensions after years of suppressing this ability so he can fit in with other kids. As the film begins, he, his mother Dina, and father Norman enter an apartment where a malicious spirit seems to have taken over the people living in order for the mother to exorcise the demon, which is kind of her job. However, the whole thing ends in tragedy, and Iqbal ends up blaming his father for what happened, something that puts an intense strain in their relationship. Uh, a bit later, similar things with what happened in the apartment start taking place in the complex father and son live, and Iqbal is forced to confront his supernatural gifts in order to save his family and newfound friends. So, according to the new style of horror films, which usually has terror combined with some social comments or other genres that are considered more serious, The Inside follows this and does a very interesting thing here, combining the terror with family drama and coming of age movie. The main medium he achieves that is Iqbal, a boy who wants to live a normal life, but the paranormal powers in the building do not let him do so. He just wants to be normal, but finds himself having to use his power in order to save the people around him. At the same time, his relationship with his father is quite tense after what happened in the aforementioned events. And this creates even more pressure actually for both. It is interesting that Jamil, a friend of his father, has a rather strange role here, with him being an importer of flowers from Indonesia, which is what gives the name to the title. And with the flowers playing a very significant role in the movie, and actually most of them seem to be carnivore plants, which is also interesting to watch. Uh, Apart from that, Dain manages to create an atmosphere of disorientation and mystery, with a number of characters seemingly playing a shady role. We have Jamil, who is definitely in that regard, but also Norman seems to have some secrets from his son, although it becomes obvious that he keeps them in order to protect him. And the same applies actually to a number of characters. Like there is a girl, a boy, and she has a grandmother who seems to know something about what is happening in the film, but her behavior is very strange and mysterious. And this overall sense actually extends to a number of characters, which I think works, but to a point, not fully, because the characters are too many, and Said did not have the time to analyze them all and create empathy for them in the around 100 minutes the film lasts. On the other hand, where the movie finds its zenith is in the violent scenes, with the brutality and the blood spattered all around being quite impressive. There are a number of scenes like that that get more and more intense as time passes, and the kind of torturing scene in the end is probably the most memorable of all. Also sheds much light in what is happening. It is quite brutal and very impressive to watch. DP Jordan Cam has created is also his work is also very good because he manages to create a claustrophobic atmosphere within the building, which intensifies the horror. At the same time, the aforementioned final scene adds a comment about women and how they are treated and how they survive, let's say, in a man-oriented world that is Malaysia and not only. But again, this comment is a bit blurred and it doesn't get communicated, let's say, as well as it could. Regarding the issues of the film, there is also the music seems unfit for on occasion because some of the most violent scenes have music that is like funny or I don't know, silly, let's say, which may be perceived as ironic as Dain has the style, but I think that a bit more tense music would actually elevate the scenes even further. There is also some pacing issues with the story unfolding in ways that occasionally does not make sense because the viewer who watches the film probably will feel at moments that he's missing something. And although the ending kind of ties up the most of the loose ends, some of them still remain. Furthermore, the female characters do not get much development, which is a pity because okay, you have like Remy Isaac as Jamil is because, for example, Nadia Anissa as Dina is quite good to watch, but she just appears mostly in the first scenes of the movie. Uh, Okay, also some CGI are too ambitious for the budget of the film, with the creature that appears in particular being could definitely have been done better. It's a bit, I don't know, it doesn't look that good. On the other hand, when the demons, the spirits starts taking over various character, this actually is presented rather well with the majority of actors doing a rather nice job appearing crazy and violent and crazy violent, I guess one could say. And since we mentioned the acting, um, okay, Aidan as Iqbal is quite good, highlighting his the stress he feels and the pressure in order to keep his powers hidden. And the whole angst he feels is communicated rather well. The scenes with his father, where you can feel the tension, are among the best in the movie. With Bron Palara in the role of Norman also doing a great job as usual. Apart from that, though, and considering what I mentioned about the female roles, the acting is, I guess, as a whole, is so-so, with the exceptions of the ones I already mentioned. So, in the end, I feel this is kind of a mixed bag of a film, and Dain has definitely shot better ones. I feel maybe the whole thing that happened with the censorship, although the version I watched, I think it's the full one, but the whole thing must have made Dain come up with a film that it was not exactly what he wanted. So this definitely took a toll in the film. But at the same time, the combination of horror and drama works quite well, and I feel that fans of supernatural horror will find a lot to like here, even if the context is not that. Okay, the context is not bad, actually. Apart from the issues I mentioned, the story is good. It's interesting, and the inside also includes some religious elements along with the supernatural and some comments about imports, let's say, which is a bit cheeky of him. And in general, I feel this is definitely above average, with the only problem being maybe the pacing and the fact that for the people who have watched previous movies by Dain they will realize that he can do better. But fans of horror will definitely enjoy it, and I have no doubt about it. So this was the review for today. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like what you are doing, please like and subscribe, and hope to see you soon again. Have a nice day. Bye.